is 6 o'clock. Good evening. It is 6 p.m. and I would like to call to order the special school board meeting of the Woodford County Public Schools. It is December 16th, 2024, 6 p.m. and we are at Safe Harbor Academy. Roll call, we have all members present, 4 in person, and Ms. Springate is virtual. So let us stand for the pledge. The flag is somewhere I can't, it's behind me to the left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on the agenda, superintendent's report. First up, we have our recognitions.
Good evening. Tonight we have 2 students to recognize. They are both cross-country runners. So I don't know if Addie and Ryan are here. Oh, Ryan, right here. Perfect. Okay, so I'll read Addie's first, and then I'll read yours first since you're here. Sorry. All right, so Ryan Hendricks, he was 11th in the state, and he was a regional runner-up, and he is a cross-country school record holder now, which is very exciting. So congratulations on an awesome season, Ryan. If we want to, is there a certificate for Ryan tonight? Okay, wonderful. So Ryan, what we typically do is we'll have you come up and shake the board's hands. They will present you with the certificate, and then I will get a group photo with all of you. Ryan, you can come over this way. Oh, Ryan will be running D1. Awesome. That's incredible. All right, congratulations, Ryan. That's super exciting. And then we're also recognizing Addie Moore. So she is a five times regional champion, a 2-time state champion, and she was the Gatorade Player of the Year for female cross country. So we are very excited for Miss Addie. She's always doing impressive things.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Move on to the superintendent's remarks.
If possible, I would like to hold mine to the end of this section, and then I will, as soon as you guys do your good news report, and then I'll hold mine to the end just of this section.
Okay. So we'll move on to our good news report. Mr. Brickler, we will start with you.
Sure. There's so much good stuff going on. It's the end of the year. Obviously, I know we're going to hear a lot about the new high school, so I'll table that. But just want to give a shout out to all the students who are doing Christmas performances. I know there's choirs and orchestra and all the students that have put a lot of work into that. So looking forward to seeing those. Definitely want to say thank you to Ms. McHale and Ms. Glass for their service on the board. Thank you so much for all the work you've put into it, the guidance, the assistance, the teaching. As a new board member, it's been very helpful, and so just really want to thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Mr. Brickler. We'll go to Ms. McCowan.
Sure. Just a couple of things. The first is I wanted to congratulate our new National Board Certified teachers, Tara Adkins, Shelby Kearns, Courtney Cheney, and to Erin Casimir for maintaining her certification. And a quick update that the Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast is going to be on January the 20th at 8:30 a.m. at the First Christian Church, and all are invited, so hopefully I know it's not Christmas yet, but this may be the last time that, that I can remind before our next board meeting. And thanks to Ms. Glass and to Ms. McHale for your service, and I wish you the best in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you. Mr. Sayer?
I'll keep mine pretty short today. I can say with confidence that it is good news that finals week has officially come to an end. So me and my peers definitely have a little bit of weight lifted off our shoulders, and all of the winter sports are in full swing as of a couple weeks ago, so that's always good news too.
Ms. Glass?
I told you I was going to cry. As I reflect on my 4 years on the board, a word that comes to mind is gratitude. While running for office wasn't something I ever saw myself doing, I'm grateful to have supported district initiatives such as a Portrait of a Learner, award-winning Purpose in Action grant, increased mental health professionals and partnerships within our schools, air condition in every bus, which I'm sure my children appreciate, the early learning bus for our youngest learners, and given a total of 12% across the board raises for all staff. Most importantly, funding and building a new high school. I'm proud to say that all of my votes have always been cast with students' best interests in mind. I want to thank my family who are here today for their first board meeting. And hopefully their last, for their never-ending support and in having to endure your mom being a school board member. It's not always the most popular thing. Also to my friends, some of you are here tonight, for their countless support and encouragement in these last 4 years. I have been honored to be a member of the Woodford County Board of Education, Woodford County Public Schools. are made up of fantastic leadership, exceptional staff, and amazing students. I will always be one of its biggest supporters. I look forward to watching the district continue to thrive. It's truly a place where kids win.
So listen, I've got a gavel, I run this meeting, and I've got a lot of notes. So I'm up next. People ask me all the time why I decided to run for school board. It was the middle of COVID. We had, the town was bitterly divided over the funding and building of a new high school, so it seemed like a great time to join. But I do have a few reasons, and they have built up over the many years that we've been a part of Woodford County School. I wanted to share just a few of those with you. Back in, it had to be like 2013, 2014, Wendy Birch was the first grade teacher at Huntertown Elementary, and she had a group of probably 6 or 7 boys in that class who are still best friends today, who were absolutely terrified to go on to 2nd grade. All summer long, these boys pestered her every time they saw her at the pool. I mean, this woman got no rest all summer long. She counseled them and she encouraged them, and lo and behold, they all made it through 2nd grade. They're all graduating this year, and she was just an amazing mentor to those kids, and they loved her. Mr. Asher, you're up next. You know what I'm going to say. My kids only knew Mr. Asher as a coach and a dad of one of their friends, and one day Luke came home from school in 5th grade and said, "Oh my God, Mr. Asher came over. Did you know he works at Northside?" First of all, I said, "Yeah, I did." Mr. Asher went from being that coach and dad to the educator of the male puberty class in 5th grade. So Luke was horrified, had to go to baseball practice that day, but another example of people becoming parts of their personal life as well as, and there's my family too. Being a part of their family and helping them outside of school as well. We had health crises, and we had many, many, many injuries for my youngest son that all of our teachers supported, sitting on donuts and using crutches and boots and whatever paraphernalia he needed. And they made sure that he was safe and that he was able to participate in everything. My mom passed away when the boys were in 6th and 8th grade. And I remember distinctly calling Sarah Martin, who was the one of the office personnel at the middle school at the time, and I must have been going on and on and on, and she said, listen, Angela, just take them home, be with your mom, we'll figure all of it out, don't worry about it. That same year, my son Luke, who was in an ag class, went to an FFA banquet and ended up giving a speech at the FFA banquet, even though he wasn't part of the FFA banquet. We were not there, but moms and teachers and personnel ended up taking pictures and videos, so we got to see what he did. Mr. Hunley, you're up next, and I'm sorry the boys are here, but we had one awkward disciplinary phone call from you in middle school, and you know those phone calls can be so uncomfortable, and they can make you feel sometimes so bad. You never made anybody feel that way. You were always caring and understanding, and really there to help make things better for our children, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. There's one woman in this room who has been with my kids since the day that they started at Huntertown, and that's Miss Tracy sitting right there. You've supported them every second of their entire school career up through graduation, and you've been a huge part of our family. All of the teachers who, if the kids were having a bad day, if they were having a bad week, or if they were having a really good day, reach out to us. And I know I'm not the only one that has these experiences. I know everybody sitting in this room and listening has had these experiences. You really take our kids into your hearts and into your lives. In addition to all the wonderful teachers, we've met some pretty wonderful kids, and this one down here is a good example of what Woodford County offers as far as friends go. I've known Reed since he was about 4. He went to preschool with Will. And outside of one really unfortunate class trip where I had to yell at him, he's just a delight. And getting to know kids like Reed and like all of the other children in our district has been another reason why I wanted to do school board. Having said all of that, and I'm not near as eloquent as I had this all in my mind, but we don't have parents or aunts and uncles or cousins anywhere within 8 hours of Versailles. And I want you all to know that you have become our family. You have become the ones that the boys and I and my husband are so excited to share our day, to share our activities, to share our lives with. And I don't think I could ever repay all of that. But as far as my goals for school board, I wanted to make sure that I was advocating for our kids. And sometimes that's, do we have enough to eat? Are they safe each day? Do they have clean, bright schools that have everything that they need? I told you it was long. I'm really sorry. And I'm very proud to say that I did that. When we started, we brought all of the board brought the students back into the classroom during COVID. That was huge for me. I think that's where they belonged, and I was very proud of being able to do that. We did free lunches. We have enhanced health benefits for kids that need it, counseling services for kids that need it. We got pay raises, additional benefits, and matches for our teachers and our staff. We're just about ready to open a bright new high school that's going to have loads of opportunities for every kid that walks through that door. And how could I forget that we hired a KEDC Superintendent of the Year. I've loved every performance, award ceremony, athletic event, graduation. I've loved seeing our kids succeed, and I will always be an advocate for and support the kids of Woodford County. Thank you to my family. I'm almost done, I promise. Thank you to my family, especially my 2 boys who had to go through high school with me in a very public position. Also my husband, who had to deal with me before and after the meetings. Thank you to my friends, one of whom is here tonight, for their endless support and encouragement, and I'm so glad we're all still friends after this. And lastly, to every teacher, staff member, ETC teacher, lunchroom monitor, bus driver, office secretary, central office staff, and personnel who will forever be remembered by my family. Thank you to our community for allowing me to serve. Ms. Springate, do you have any good news?
No, I would just say thank you both for your service and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, Ms. Springate. You can go now.
Gary, I told her that you said you all couldn't make it, so I moved my remarks back, and I think she was very happy to see you come in. So I did move the remarks back so I could, I wanted you guys to be here. When you think about leaders, you think about the number of people they've lifted up. And these two folks, two words I think describe them are change and positivity. They came to this school board to do what was right for kids. And I think every member on the board has done that. But I feel like that these ladies have had an opportunity that they could have just kind of sat on their hands, but they led change. And through that change, they have uplifted 3,900 students, 650 employees, and I don't know how many folks live here in Woodford County. But they have been able to just completely put a beautiful spin on what this county really needed. And there's times it's very hard to say yes. I know. Very hard. Very hard. That's why any school board member has my utmost respect, because it's a tough job. It's a thankless job. But these ladies have really gone above and beyond in their support of Woodford County Public Schools. When we talk about change, we're talking about not just facilities. I took someone through the new school today, and it was just like you said, it's so bright, clean, big. The hallways are so wide. I mean, it's just amazing as to what you'll see when we go in there on Wednesday to cut this ribbon and you get a chance to visit the school. Then obviously January 6th, we're having our first event at the school, and we'll have community tours, and we'll have folks, hopefully we're gonna be able to have our kids lead some of those tours through the new school. I got a whole list of things to talk about going on in schools, but I think this kind of trumps some of that tonight, because we've all heard about our cheerleaders winning the state championship again, and we've all heard about our national board certified teachers, and the sidewalk at Southside is finished, the entrance, so we've heard about those things, but we haven't had an opportunity to say the great things that these ladies have helped lead. Not just with them, but some of their counterparts were all not afraid to say yes. Not afraid to say yes to thinking outside the box. But it was always for kids. Always for kids. And I go back to, it wasn't just what's happened with a new facility. It's what happens with staff. Without staff, we can't teach kids. Without raises, we lose every good staff member we have to surrounding districts that are given raises. Without staff, we can't do what we need to do in the classrooms. That also then in turn leads us to more comfortable situations, safer situations on our buses. We've talked about up-to-date bus fleets. We have probably one of the most up-to-date bus fleets in the state. Every bus has air conditioning. They have help us provide things that have made our district just continue to excel. It's always been a great district. I inherited a great district. But we have to continue to look, as we said, change. If you become stagnant, then you lose sight of where you're at. Change is not always the best thing and always the easiest thing, but it's the right thing. So we've looked at changing what our classrooms look like. Portrait of a Learner, they've been huge supporters of that. So they've been huge supporters of anything, Mr. Asher has brought to us, Ms. Tracy has brought to us different instructions, or some different grading methods, those types of things. iReady instead of MAP. We've changed some things, and they've always been very supportive of that. So with that being said, a leader is judged by how many people they uplift, and I can't put a number on what they've uplifted tonight. I also, as much as they've meant to this district, I can't tell you what they've meant to me and my family. So if you'll come up here, I have something for you. Ms. McHale, I'd like to present you with the plaque with the gavel as the board chair. And then Ms. Glass, your plaque with the title of Vice Chair. And if you would, we'd like to get a picture real quick. Jesse and I have talked for the last 2 weeks. What can we do that will symbolize what they've done for this district and what we hope they can do for themselves and their families as they lead us? The 2 peace lilies at the end of the table are for you. So you make sure you take those because we hope peace. Peace for you. This has always been easy. So peace is what we hope. So make sure you take those. Thank you all.
Okay, I think I can move on. My goodness. Okay. Mr. Ratliff, where are you? There you are. Last one. This is our new high school project update.
Well, if I had bad news, I'd be hiding, but since I don't, I can stand up here.
I would recommend it, Mr. Allen.
You know, in all seriousness, this is, you know when the deadline for the project is, and you can think about it, but the thought does cross your mind the last 6 months of getting up here and delivering bad news and what that would feel like. I honestly don't know what it feels like, and I never want to know what that feels like. I'm very relieved. I think it's to state the obvious. You all have started moving in the building. We hit the date of we actually got our inspections on the 5th, our final inspections, and then, you know, the goal was the 6th for you all to start a move in on the 9th. So huge relief. I've always looked at it as if it fails, it's on me. I have to get up here and tell you it fails and why it fails, but if it succeeds, it's on everybody. So it's definitely not me who achieved this. It's hundreds of people that have put in a lot of time and effort into that project, including yourselves. So very happy that we were able to hit the date and you all were able to start moving in on the 9th. We've had to change our heading here. It's 19-day look ahead, not 30 anymore. So everybody, you know, 30-day move-in is very challenging versus a summer, and it's just because of all the different groups of people trying to get things done at the same time. I hope, it seems to me like the contractors and the school staff and everybody involved has been working great together with the move-in. It's been flowing really well. A lot of production being made on all ends, and I think it's went really well. So Wednesday it'll be very close to final, of course, but I look forward to you all seeing the very final product. With that said, I've got a window here, Josh. There we go. All right. The only thing on here, so the construction cost to date is $61,079,581.52. Total billed through November is $57,779,969.58. That's 95% billed. And the revised substantial completion date was December 6th, and the final completion date is January 4th, 2025. Contingency log, this forthcoming change order that we'll talk about, 13, is included on your contingency log. And again, this is the current BG1. There will still be final changes made between this one and the track and field. But from my standpoint, the total use to date is $835,366.65, which is 27%. That leaves a little over nearly $2.2 million in the contingency at 72%. Most of the look ahead is like area C and E. There was some visual displays that we found out were discontinued. The architect worked with the supplier for quite some time because they were dead set on that visual display. They finally found a visual display in for those breakout areas that was up to par. They actually were more expensive, but the supplier is providing at no additional cost just due to the surprise. So we still expect those to be installed before final completion. And then, of course, complete punch list items in both of those areas. Area F, there's some miscellaneous casework trim and filler pieces. Some of it just, they sent them, there's the wrong color. It's very minor stuff, little pieces. It's not really hindering anything major. It's just filler pieces, trim pieces, and so on. All these items we expect to be done before final completion date. They're just little thorns in the sides, basically. Area D, there's still some like a vinyl sign that goes on the admin desk. There's some wall signage, all that stuff. A lot of it will be complete tomorrow and the following days. There's no major items on here, very minute things. Display cases, final cleaning and punch list. Area A, gymnasium equipment install. The scoreboard was installed yesterday, I believe, or Friday. The divider curtains installed. They'll be working on shot clocks, items like that tomorrow. Complete final cleaning. The area, the wood stage, there was a transition detail worked out a few weeks ago between the architect and the floor installer, and that transition piece will arrive on the 18th. So as soon as it arrives, they'll be able to complete the stage floor. Final cleaning in Area A or Area B. The stage curtain's ongoing right now. Should be complete tomorrow. Still some wiring systems, voice and data, light fixtures and devices to complete. Display cases at Area B. Those doors have to be reinstalled. And then complete punch list and final cleaning in Area B. Weather is hindering us, but there's very little final grading to complete around back, and then we still have areas to seed and sod. That is the battle with a winter completion, no doubt about it. In the spring, I feel confident about getting grass to grow in all areas, but without it taking growth before the rain, there will be some washout areas that'll have to be fixed in the spring. It's very, I don't know, I would say 100% on projects that finish in the winter. So I'm not worried about the overall look once it achieves growth, but there will be areas that have to be corrected. Directional signage should be installed tomorrow. The exterior cleaning is ongoing, and then complete punch list corrections. So it's been rainy, don't have many exterior photos, but I thought this one hit the most. It's crazy that even to me, like when this signage went up, it became a lot more real. That's the only exterior photo I have. I imagine everybody's seen the video that was put out. That video nearly went viral, I would call it. So it's been insane, the attention that thing has got. So I think that's a testament to the excitement in this community. We've never had a video go wild like that. So I think that says a lot. Admin area, you can see the admin desk is now installed. And then the owner furniture boxes you see sitting there. The computer science clean engineering lab. On the drawings, it's collaborative commons. Gym auditorium entrance. Then the auditorium. You can see they're working on the stage curtain. That photo was taken earlier today. There's the gym. You can see the acoustical panels installed, the scoreboard, the divider curtain. Then the weight and cardio room. It's locked up on me. Shot of the lobby, the second floor and the ceiling. Your area F&D first floor corridor. And the media center. For the track and field, the construction cost to date is $5,424,157.36. Billing through November is $3,817,012.35. That's 70% complete. The substantial completion date remains on February 10th, 2025, with a final completion of March 11th, 2025. Contingency remains the same. Again, this is just on the current BG1. It is showing a remaining contingency of negative $32,600 because the BG1s have not been revised yet. In the past 30 days, they've completed the shingle roof. Interior MEP rough-in is ongoing, and they've completed the concrete at the discus and shot put area. 30-day look ahead, start and complete brick. Should be no problem to complete it as long as we don't get tons of rain. Install door frames and to complete the MEP rough-in. It was extremely rainy today, so that's the best comparison photo I have, but making good progress there as well. Any questions?
I have a quick question about when you talked about the areas to be completed probably in the spring with the seed and the sod.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that will be an extra cost, or is that included? Okay.
No, it will not be an extra cost.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
How hard was it to install that honeycomb ceiling in the lobby?
Well, I didn't do it, but I can tell you, I got involved in it a lot. It looks amazing, but the combination of trades that were involved, and sometimes something looks good on paper, it's harder to put together, when you're out there doing it. But few obstacles to navigate, and few people probably had a few temper tantrums, but
Yeah, it looks amazing, but
Yeah.
it also looks very difficult
Yeah.
to install that.
it was very, very tricky to get the light fixtures mounted in the middle, and how much gap you have between that grid and the panels, and it was tricky, but took some time, but overall it went really well.
Looks amazing.
I don't have any questions other than I'm sorry I'm not going to see you every month doing this report, but not really. But no, I feel like it seems like 15 years ago I met you and Dave and crew at meetings when I was just a mom hoping to get support for school. So I just want to thank you all for your perseverance and seeing this project to completion, because it's not been easy on you all either, and that's appreciated. And I'm so excited for our kids to get in that gorgeous new building. So I hope you can get some rest and maybe a vacation.
Well, maybe 2025.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see all the attention to detail is very obvious in the pictures that you've sent and that we've been able to share. But to get in that building, I literally can't wait until Wednesday. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for
I'm excited for you
everything you've done. Miss Bradley, you as well have been a huge advocate and help in getting this project completed. So thank you.
Thank you all.
On time and under budget.
That's right. That's what we shoot for.
That's right. Ms. Springate, do you have anything?
Well, I just wanted to make sure there's no problem with the moving in and all having the students there before the final inspections.
No, we plan to have so the final is January 4th, and school starts January 8th. So we plan to have final inspections before January 4th, but that would be the drop dead date.
Okay, but I think
we already have some final inspections already.
Aren't they already moving things in this week, though, from the high school?
Yes, you're allowed to move in on a temporary certificate of occupancy.
Okay, and it's okay for the students and the staff and the teachers to be in the building during all this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Clay, I say this only so I can announce it to everyone here. We talked earlier today, we may have to move the ribbon cutting inside. And we'll make a decision on that in the morning, because I know you guys need to know that as well. We'll try to look at the weather as best we can in the morning, and at cabinet, we'll discuss that and but we'll let you know as soon as we've made a decision.
We're moving in that direction just to be.
I
so.
can't imagine we're not going to have to,
Yeah.
but just wanted to make sure that I let everyone else know what we had talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
If there's no other questions, why don't we move into our next agenda item? If I could have a motion to approve the newest change order for the high school.
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms. Glass,
Second.
second by Mr. Brickler. Mr. Ratliff, you want to go through that?
Okay, so PR 76, Allied Health 104 sinks. So to sum up the issue there was sinks shown on the plumbing drawings, but they were all the same type of sink, and the architectural drawings did not show cabinetry for those sinks. So essentially, you have sinks floating in midair, which doesn't work. So we had to reconfigure the sinks, and we took a little time because there's numerous options you could have to add the sinks, but the best was to add some additional cabinetry and utilize the sinks that we had already ordered. So it was the most economical and gave the staff what they need. And so the cost for that change was $7,661.29. The second floor media center guardrail, so that is a additional guardrail in front of the glass at the second floor of the media center, and that would be for safety precautions in case somebody was to be pushed or, whatever, trip. It eliminates the chance of somebody busting through glass from the second floor. So that is a 50-foot guardrail that has to be installed. It matches the rest of the guardrail upstairs, and the cost for that was $21,153.95. The culinary ranges, this was a tough last-minute surprise. Basically, the owner provides 5 range ovens in the culinary room. Like most range ovens, those are 240 volt, and the power in the design that was supplied was 120 volt. There's nothing that can be done other than to run 240 to those areas. And at this stage of the project, that it's a lot of work to get back above ceiling, to demo areas in the wall to get the power in. That cost was $29,688.59. The unsuitable souls credit, this is an amount that we allot to the site contractor for suitable souls to address that if they find it, and there was no unsuitable souls on the project, so this is a $32,000 credit back to you that was unused. So I still don't like the ads, but it's good that we have that credit to provide back to help offset the cost. The total cost for change order 13 is $26,503.83.
Any questions for Mr. Ratliff on those change orders?
With regard to the guardrail recommendation above the media center, so is that something that came as a result of a coding check or something like that, or was that just like a final look and think, oh gosh, maybe
It
that would
actually
be-
hasn't been brought up by anybody. The architect realized it a while back and went ahead and got the wheels moving. There's not been any kind of red flag on it. It's something that most people wouldn't catch, but it's necessary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but nobody has thrown up any concerns over it. It just needs to happen.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions for this change order? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Thank you again, Mr. Ratliff.
I hadn't thought about it being your all's last meeting until I got here, but it's been an honor to work with you both. It's been an honor to get to know you both, and thank you for entrusting us with your project.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you on Wednesday. No. Okay, next up is Mr. Asher with the Instructional and Equity Report.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Before I forget, I'll say it up front. Thank you both for your service, your dedication, your commitment to Woodford County Schools. very much appreciated, not only all the support that's been expressed already, but for me personally, greatly appreciated. It's been a pleasure working with you during this tenure and before, and I would assume after at some point. Okay, 79th day of school, of instruction, as the school year ticks away. What I'm relatively brief today, but what I want to continue to keep in front of you is our progress on our paths to the portrait and how we are using this as our strategic planning element moving forward. As we look here, a reminder, I talked about this last month, but kind of lumped these two together to do some planning of that, what we call compression planning. Called in a representative, a trainer from CKEC. And so this particular one, this is just draft, as you can see from the underlines and typos and things like that. But what we are truly doing on all these paths is mapping it out for the next several years of the direction we want to head. Hence why we are calling this our strategic plan. So that was from back in October. Last month, I showed you a version of the demonstrations of learning and where we're going towards that. This green highlighted one here actually refers to deeper learning. Moving ahead, career readiness, community engagement, we lump that together, and that really, the vehicle that we're using for this is our Woodford Winds Community Partner Network that I've talked about several times up here. But I had that group, leaders from among that group, and leaders which are community leaders. I believe I mentioned those last time, as well as several representatives, multiple stakeholders take part in a compression planning for that back in November. This was the tool that was used for that. It's called a Padlet. We'll take this and put that into the yearly column version that you see here to map ourselves out for career readiness and community engagement. And that was done back on November 17th, I think that says there. Demonstrations of learning. While several have gone on, this is just one of the more recent ones that was done at Northside Elementary. There's Mr. Hunley talking and actually providing feedback to a group. What their project was as a group, usually 4 to 5, sometimes 6 members of a 5th grade classroom, they had to develop their own colony. And so obviously there were specific things with that. They had a colony leader. I believe they had, the name escapes me, but someone in charge of the food, someone in charge of the safety, so on and so forth. They had to create a flag, had to map out their territory. And so several of us, there's Mr. Wells speaking with the group, Ms. Taylor, the principal, and there's a group there. They had to come up with a flag as well, and usually they had some sort of prop. I bet this was maybe a fishing colony, hence the fishing net there, some sort of prop that went along with it. And Ms. Taylor once again, and Mr. Atkins there. All that to say, these are demonstrations of learning. And then part of what they highlighted was, well, we were empathetic communicators by doing X, Y, and Z. They were very big on problem solving, because when you put a group of 5th graders together, you can imagine there might be problems to solve. So all of them that I met with, I remember them highlighting that. So these are the sort of things that we're encouraging. This is just one example from Northside. They've been going on everywhere. I always go back to that cake wars thing that we saw last year. I think they're going to repeat that. Those are examples of demonstrations of learning that we are really trying to emphasize and encourage our schools to do. Let's see, moving forward. Oh, another thing that we're doing to support our paths are our academy structures. And so what those are, and I've mentioned this before, teachers applied to be part of those. We have 2 academies. One is Deeper Learning. Myself and Ms. Tracy lead that. And then Tech and Innovation is led by Dr. Rayburn and our 2 digital learning coaches. And let's see, November was our last meeting. We meet again in January. But as far as Deeper Learning goes, we go back and forth of where we spend a full day at CKEC, learn from their expertise. Our teachers from that crew have really bought in. We have representatives from elementary, middle, and high. Really have started to open up. At first they weren't sure what this was all about, but have really seen growth with them, and so we'll continue into the second semester. And then, as I mentioned, Dr. Rayburn, they had one on November 21st. That was a collaboration with Midway University. What was the department specifically? Okay, it was English and then the teaching and learning department. Education department, I should say. I got to go over there, snuck in there because it was Thanksgiving lunch day, so we benefited from that. That was nice. All for the bargain price of what, $7 a person? Yeah. Anyways, that wasn't in my presentation, but good memory came back. Anyways, it was all about digital storytelling, wasn't it? That was pretty fascinating. Just all the different ways that the professor there showed different examples of how through video, through media, just different ways of digital storytelling that our teachers that are in the tech and innovation pathway could take back in their classroom. And obviously that's yet another way of deeper learning and in a way to engage students. I think that's it. As I mentioned, this will be brief, but I just want to continue to encourage and support and ask for your encouragement and support as we continue on these paths through a portrait. Any questions at this time for me?
No questions. I'll just say from my end, I was bragging a little bit on the district a couple of weeks ago at work. We had a meeting in Phoenix with a bunch of the manufacturing leads, and we're talking about a lot of change management, small group, learning what everybody else is doing, and how to implement some change in learning. And I think, again, Portrait of a Learner is just such a success and such a neat thing to be able to show to people, and they were all amazed at.
I was going to say, did you feel like the smartest in the room? Like
well, I probably was, but you know, no, it was so neat to be able to apply that, because I think down the road, 15 years, these kids are still going to be using what they're learning today in those situations, and it was a really neat moment for me to kind of put those things together too. So,
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We have our sights set really high. Obviously, the academic achievement remains important, very important, but at the same time, we want the whole child education just as strong. So that's what this is all about.
I'll just add, having a 3rd and 5th grader in the schools and the excitement that they have when they come home and tell me a lot about the project-based learning that they have in place and the different activities that they get to do. The fact that they're excited about what they're doing in school is a huge win.
Absolutely.
And that they want to continue to do that. And so, yeah, thank you for all these initiatives, because it is having an impact on the students.
Appreciate it.
Anything else? Okay.
Ms. Glass, Ms. McHale, thank you once again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Asher. That brings us to our opportunity for audience and public comment. We have one today, Ms. Danny Bradley. Now, Ms. Bradley, we have 15 minutes, I think, is what we allow.
Here we go. No,
The mic might die. But
it could. No, obviously, this is a bit of a change of circumstance, but I couldn't let this opportunity go by without coming here and saying thank you to you both. I would like to thank you, Ms. McHale, and you, Mrs. Glass, for your service. I want to thank you for advocating for staff. Thank you for valuing their input in meetings and taking their advice as experts in their respective fields. Thank you for seeing the high school project through. It truly is the school that our students and staff deserve. Thank you for being a voice for the whole community, not just a select few who shout the loudest or comment the most on social media. Thank you for trying to relay facts and steer a positive course when others focused on the negatives and never bothered to come back and correct the obvious misinformation. Thank you for attending so many different student activities, even when your kids weren't involved, and for visiting schools to see all of the wonderful things that are happening in our district. Thank you for voting to support and celebrate student groups when they have achieved so many awesome things. But above all of that, thank you for always putting students first and doing the right thing. Serving on a school board isn't glamorous or even fun, but it is important. Your dedication has directly affected thousands of students in Woodford County, and that's something that you should be proud of. I hope 20 years from now, when you look back, that you realize the contribution that you made to the success of kids, and that that's what you remember from your time on the Woodford County Board of Education. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Bradley. Moving on, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
That's a motion by Mr. Brickler.
Second.
Second by Ms. Glass. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
The motion passes 3-2. Moving on to the regular agenda, can I have a motion to accept notification of personnel matters?
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms.
Second.
McCowan and a second by Ms. Glass. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to accept notification of payment of bills?
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms. Glass,
Second.
second by Mr. Brickler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion fails the motion passes 3-2. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2024 board meeting?
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms. McCowan,
Second.
a second by Mr. Brickler. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Can I have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 calendar?
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms.
Second.
McCowan and a second by Ms. Glass. Any discussion on this one? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Just
Aye.
one
Aye.
quick,
Well,
Oh, yeah?
There's two options, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I
we
thought
were
we just
talking
had the
about-
one. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there's two options. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought we had one picked to vote on for today. Okay.
well, we have to have the two readings, right, and then a vote.
This is the second reading.
So option,
Okay, so then, can I have a motion to approve, which, do you want option 1 or option 2 first? I guess. Mr. Wells, I'm sorry.
So as you recall, there were two options. Option one was the preferred option of the students,
Okay.
of the parents, of the employees. And so option two was kind of the second choice from those groups. But option one was the preferred option from the surveys that we did.
Okay. All right, so I'll amend my request. Can I have a motion to approve option 1 for the 2025-2026 calendar?
Motion.
second.
So that was again, Ms. McCowan, Ms. Glass. Any discussion on that? Okay. Ms. Springate? No? All those
No,
in-
I would mention
Okay.
two options. We corrected that. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Thanks, Mr. Wells. Sorry about that.
And I do not want to be the only person that comes up here and not thank you for your service. So before I go sit down, in all seriousness, I don't think we had much cause to interact prior to your service on the board, but I've enjoyed getting to know you. I'm answering any questions that you have and certainly wish you all the best moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. And now I'm going to have a motion to approve option 2 on the 2025 board meeting dates.
What this does is I'm sorry.
Can we have a motion?
Oh, so moved.
A motion by Ms.
So moved.
Glass? I'll second that. Okay, discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Atkins.
This gives us the option, or allows us to have a central location for our school board members. We've never had room for that before. This would allow us to use the old high school library, which we've used several times, and we would have our students come to us to present, come to the central office. Not central office, but the central location. And one of the things we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of wear and tear. We're one of the few districts that still stream live and use our equipment here regularly. So moving it from location to location has been very difficult on that, and we're starting to see wear and tear on that, and it's very expensive equipment, but we're also paying, it's become such a large production now that we're also paying overtime for not just our staff, but we have student workers as well that we're hiring to come and help us with that. So we're looking at probably saving some time, but also saving some money and some wear and tear on our equipment with this, and still recognizing our kids and allowing them to come and present. We certainly want our schools to still come and present either their plays, their performances, all those things. So this would give us that option to have a central location.
And that is the only difference between the two, is the location of the meetings. So we would go from having a rotating to a central location, which is going to really ease things up for Dr. Rayburn and the rest of the staff, both student and full-time staff, in setting those meetings up.
And you said that was option 2?
Yes.
Because it's option 1.
Is it?
I can't give
Can you, I thought it was option 2 when we looked earlier.
All board meetings held at old WCHS New Central Office, option 1.
Yep.
Unless otherwise posted.
Okay. All right.
can't get anything to load, so I'm not being able to give you correct numbers.
Okay. So do we need to vote on this and then
Yes, on option 1.
Yeah, okay.
So is there opportunity for discussion?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
in
absolutely.
discussion now.
Yeah, we're in
Okay,
discussion right
just
now.
making sure.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
The only thing I was going to say, I do like going to the different schools and being in them, but I do understand the logistics of what we do now and the fact that it may make a lot of things easier. One thing I would say is I know sometimes our student performances might not fit in the library, so if it is something like we're having a choir perform or we're having something larger that maybe not in the library and maybe in the gymnasium at the new central office.
Or the cafeteria
or
on
the
the
cafeteria
stage.
on the stage, yeah. So that would be my only thing, is we allow room,
Yeah.
but then you only have to move it within that same building.
Did it note on there? I don't recall if it noted the specific location in the school. It just
No.
says, it just says
Yeah, that's just my
yeah,
only thing, is
I
I want to make sure
fully
we still
agree.
give enough room
Yeah.
for the student performances.
I-
So
that's
one of the
important.
things is when we are setting up in the schools is that we have to have it torn back down that night, and we're also having to set it up during school time. So that would allow us, whether we're moving it inside the building, that would allow us that time to do that the next day without paying the overtime and all that. That's, yeah.
I have just 2 questions about this. So the first one, does that mean that our January meeting would be at the old, I guess it says WCHS, so we're talking the old WCHS? Okay. And my next question was, I hope that voting on this tonight does not prevent us in the future or at our next board meeting, once we have our new board members here, from revisiting planning meetings, because that is something I would still like to discuss as a board, and include the new board members in deciding whether they believe that would be beneficial, having those meetings. So I hope that setting this does not preclude.
You can add meetings at any point.
They would just be a special
would
call.
just be
And you can
specials.
go ahead if
For
if
the
so-
whole year.
So, yeah, do it for the year if you so choose to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll, Ms. Springate, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I just, I really enjoy being in each school, throughout the year. So I would hate to lose that. And to Ms. McCowan's point, I think it would probably be easier on staff and everyone if the planning meetings were added in now, if that's a preference for next year, so that it doesn't become a whole issue with the special call meetings. And I'm not sure how much of a burden it would be on superintendent.
You would have to add those at a later date. This motion and the agenda items are already set. We won't be adding anything to those. So we're voting on the regular meetings right now with a location at the old high school or the rotating. Anything else you would have to do as a new board in the January or whenever meetings. It's not to say that they can't happen, they're just not in this motion right now.
Correct, and I was just discussing how that might be an issue in the future.
Okay, all those in favor of option 2?
Option.
Well, the motion was for 2
Oh,
though, so
yep.
we've got to vote
I
for
gotcha.
2, and then I'll remove for option 1, so sorry, I screwed that up. So all those in favor of option 2?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. The motion fails 1-4. Can I have a motion to adopt option 1 of the 2025 board meeting dates?
Motion.
That's by Ms. McCowan.
Second.
And a second by Ms. Glass. Any additional discussion to this? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes 4-1. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. One item to note under other business, we do have a motion to enter into executive session for discussion of pending litigation. That is no longer needed, so we will just strike through that, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
Ms. McHale, real quick,
Yes.
could I, just something that I want to say, and I know I'll get a chance to say this through the week, but there has been so much planning and so much cooperation and collaboration in moving into this new high school. And I'd be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to thank Mr. Shane Smith, Mr. Tyler Reed, Mr. Josh Rayburn. Things have been almost to the minute as to when trucks are arriving, trucks are leaving, boxes are coming. Guys, and I know when I say that, there's a million other folks. You go over there right now, there's still people at this high school, whether it's staff working on classrooms or whatever. There's still folks there working right now. They'll be there till at least 8 typically. But just hats off, guys. It's been unbelievable as to what we've been able to do. So thank you.
Yep.
And I apologize for butting in, but thank you.
That's okay, thank you. And just a final thank you to Mr. Culbertson for letting us use Safe Harbor tonight. Thank you so much for the last minute change here. So motion to, yes,
If I
Mr.
could really
Sayre.
quickly, I, like
Yeah.
Mr. Wells, have succumbed to the peer pressure of expressing my gratitude. In all seriousness, though, I can confidently speak for the student body entirely when I say thank you to you two. Nobody becomes a board member to garner popularity or wealth, but we see your hard work and it's shown through us, so thank you for all you've done.
Thank you, Reed. All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That's a motion by Ms. Glass. I will second that motion as my final. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. I'm just going to do it just because I never did it before. Thank you all.